Today we're going to discuss how I kept all my weight off after season 3 of NBC's The Biggest Loser. Wait, no, I didn't. I doubled my weight. Shoot. Okay.
Would you like to learn more about the topics that were discussed today? Join us at radicallyhealthy.com, where we're combining lifestyle with other tools to add to our toolbox. We have many offerings, from a free community to a private community and even one-on-one support. Hope to see you there.
Let's get into that. Okay, so as you guys know, I was on season 3 of The Biggest Loser. There were 18 seasons of this phenomenal show that inspired America to take action against their struggle with obesity. I myself was so empowered as I watched the show, and I saw the results. The end results is what was really the part that was just so unbelievably inspiring. It was also inspiring to see people who were struggling just like me, eating healthy and moving their body, and having hope that that was going to be the ticket for me. Another thing that was just a dream come true for so many of us struggling with obesity was the idea that we could be taken out of our environment, transformed, and returned home. But what happened when we got home is not something as many people are discussing. You know, throughout time, it's been just this big thing of like, well, clearly all obese people just go back to their bad habits and they need therapy, and that is the problem. But there's more to it. Let's break down. So first of all, as you've heard me say in my previous episodes, what this was really like is it was a TV set. It was not a health clinic. There were no doctors on set. There were no nurses on set. Nobody was checking our blood pressure. Really, nobody was there except the production assistants and the person that was behind the cameras, moving them and just following them, tagging things as certain things happen for them to edit the footage later on. Other than those people that were there every day, there was a bunch of horses as well. We were in the Hummingbird Ranch in Simi Valley, California. Now, the later seasons were at a different ranch, but ours was filmed at the Simi Valley Hummingbird Ranch, which was absolutely gorgeous. I'm not going to complain and say that it was just this horrible, horrible thing, although to be honest, I was traumatized for about 8 years where I did not continue to watch the show. I hid, had very little social media presence as I went from 161 pounds to 330 pounds. But what was the weight loss actually like on the show? It was not directed by anyone but ourselves, and this desire to be successful and return home a different person changed. There was also, some would say, some blackmail because they had taken pictures of us in our skivvies. And knowing that all of America was going to see that, and if we didn't make it happen right here and there, right here and now, that we were going to look like failures on national TV in front of hundreds of millions of people, in front of the whole world, really. This show broadcasted across all audiences across the world. I mean, it was such an epic show, truly. And like I said, so inspiring. I mean, I wanted to be as gorgeous as Susie from season 2. You know, I wanted to find love like she did. You know, they did such a great job of the plotting and everything. But anyway, so when you actually get there, you find out that there actually is a doctor, but he's behind the scenes and he's not actively able to participate. The people setting the rules were primarily, at least in season 3, the trainers. And to be honest, they weren't there that often. They were only there mostly when the cameras were there. I'm not trying to say they're bad people or anything like that, but it had to feel more like they were actors than actual, you know, you would assume leaving your home and going someplace that they basically would live with you is what the feel is, especially when you watch it on TV, is they're in just about every single scene with you. So anyway, so we get there. And there's not, the other thing, the host, Caroline Ray, also not there. It's all TV that makes it seem like it's there. And it seems like you're doing something every single day, when in fact, every day, pretty much, was you eating as little as possible and continuing to move your body. If you were resting, it felt like you were losing. I know people who've done other reality TV series, and they'll tell you the same thing, which is this game is 24 hours a day. If you are resting and you are not playing the game, someone else is. And that means that not only will you not win $250,000, you won't get your dream of finally not being obese. And many of the people who were picked, they said, we picked people who felt that they were a loser. And so to return home, again, feeling like a loser was just not an option. We had to go hard every single day. I honestly can't say that there was anybody on our season who ever sat around or took a break. Everybody was on it every single day. If anybody was taking a break, they would capitalize on that and film it and make it look like, look at this weak person. This is why they struggle with obesity. And no one wanted to look like that. It was very clear, even being on set, that that is what was going to be portrayed. If you were to take any snacks, or can you imagine just too the mental difficulty of knowing everything that you're eating is being watched? Literally every minute of your day is being watched. Being an internal perfectionist, like how hard that is, knowing that I'm actually not a perfect human, but everything I'm doing is being filmed. It was a tough one to get around. And honestly, I don't think I really healed that until I started my channel for the carnivore diet. When I just let go and said, hey, I'm not perfect. And until then, I actually still had fear of social media. So we're on set, we're on it all day. Nobody will even do the dishes, even though that technically could be considered calorie burning, I think, but nobody would even touch the dishes. Everybody would just leave them. You would cook, you would work out. And I don't even know if we slept that much because you were at it all the time. Like there were people absolutely in the workout room doing cardio at midnight. The things we did for the weigh-ins too, it was, get as much water off, which is a chasing game. Because now this week I got the water off. Well, next week I either have to get that water off again or I'm going to have added weight. And then I got to see if I can get more water off. So every week was like a chasing game of chasing that scale and chasing that water breakdown. There was no chef. We had to come up with whatever we wanted to eat, and we all kind of ate the same things. We ate a lot of Wausau crackers with fat-free Laughing Cow and maybe some sprouts on top. We ate a lot of chicken and salad. I don't know if we ate that many eggs, but those are the primary things I remember. Another thing that I would do is always make Dr. H's shakes. He had these shakes, they were whole foods, and actually, I think that the recipes are pretty legit to this day. It was ricotta cheese, a touch of fruit, like maybe a tablespoon of fruit, maybe a little tiny bit of frozen juice concentrate, just a touch. So there's a little bit of sugar in there and some milk, and you blend it with ice, and you have that after a workout to try to replenish your glycogen. I don't know if anybody else made those or if it was just me, but anyway, so we'd eat as little as possible. I definitely didn't trust anybody to make my food because I definitely think that they would have spiked it or been dishonest about the ingredients and what I was supposed to eat. So it's a very, very untrusting area. You were sequestered from your family. And literally just, I wish I knew the steps. They didn't really do the step counter as much back then, but I would guess we were doing 30 to 50,000 steps a day. It was just all day long. It was a full-time job. And let's be honest, it was effective. We were getting weight off, but let's also be honest about the scale. A week on TV can be like 2 or 3 weeks in real life. So when you're seeing those big numbers, please know that you got to account for multiple weeks. But even if you accounted for multiple weeks, even if it was 3 weeks and you lost 15 pounds, that's 5 pounds a week. That's pretty extreme. Being these days that the average weight loss considered healthy is 1 to 2 pounds per week. So that would be, instead of 15 pounds, it'd be a maximum of 6 pounds. Where on the show that was considered a failure of like, whoa, you really slacked off this week. You only lost 6 pounds. So there was a mental aspect there. I don't remember there being much about hydration, but mostly everything was 0 calorie. There was a ton of product placement. So we had sugar-free Jell-O and a ton of Jennie-O turkey. We ate the white meats as the red meats were higher in calorie, and we were tracking calories. I personally was aiming for 1,274 calories. As I got on the ranch, I tried to eat less. A lot of the women were just eating as low as possible, 600 to 800 calories a day, and then continuing to work out all day long. I came on later in the season, and I didn't have any injuries because prior to being on the show, I had broken my workouts into 2 a day, so an hour and a half in the morning and an hour at night with a mix of cardio and weightlifting. When I got there, everybody was injured. A lot of bursitis, a lot of injury, which made it difficult for them to do the final challenge that I was part of, which was run a mile with all the weight that you've lost. So yeah, that's pretty much how they lost weight. Eat as little as possible, move as much as possible, and you were on your own. I mean, I was hiking in the desert by myself a lot, trying to be careful for rattlesnakes and stuff, but pretty much we were on our own every day, in and out. Did they come for these last chance workouts? Yeah, for the filming of it. And the filming might have taken a while, but it really wasn't that big of a deal. It wasn't, the weight lifting was very, very little. And those episodes, recording that happened what? Once every 2 to 3 weeks. It wasn't like this big thing, these last chance workouts. On the show, as you watch it as a viewer, you think, wow, these intense workouts, that's how they lost all that weight. And that last minute workout. No, the sauna was my last minute workout. The sauna is how I got the last weight off, and really it was about diet, but you can't make diet that exciting. So America has had this obsession ever since with, I just got to keep working out. I got to keep doing the HIIT classes. I got to keep marathon running. That's the ticket to weight loss. And if I'm still struggling with my weight, it's because I haven't marathoned enough. I haven't lifted enough weights. I'm not working out enough. That's the problem. I mean, I talk to people who are like, man, I really need to go part-time or something so I can work out more so I can finally get this weight off. What a terrible message. I mean, it is a good message to think that our ancestors moved throughout the earth and that they would have maintained a healthy weight, and they did move all the time. You'd have to walk to get water. You'd have to carry that water back. You'd have to walk to hunt and gather. You'd have to carry it back. All the preparation, building your own homes, maintaining the land around your home by hand. We would have been physically active all day long, much more like a rancher, I think, than we are today. And so the idea that we should have hedonic movement consistently, I think that's accurate, but I don't think that's the way America takes it. I think they take it more in like we should be in the gym every single day. I know when I came into carnivore, I was running for like an hour a day and then going and doing an hour-long HIIT class every day. So I went back to that 2 a day, just like I was, thinking that that was the ticket. Since then, I've learned so much on how stressful all of that is to our body, and how you think about our ancestors, they would have been gently walking throughout the day, and then they would have been carrying the water back. They would have been bending over to pick things up and hunt and gather. It would have been much more natural and gentle. I don't think we would have been running to get our water. I don't think we'd been running with all that water on the way back. And we definitely wouldn't have been doing HIIT classes, although there would have been strong lifting and lifting logs and things like that as we build structures. But anyway, that's how people lost weight. As we go into these Biggest Loser lives, which I highly suggest you check out, people talk about the different things that they did to skew their final weight and each weigh in. Things like rubbing, what was it? Rubbing hemorrhoid cream all over their body, wrapping themselves in plastic, then going in the sauna before each weigh in. And before the finale, getting colonics, fasting for 20 days, spitting in a cup, chewing gum to produce spit, and getting rid of all of the fluid in the body that you could possibly get rid of. It's things like that. You look at that and you go, I wonder why people gained weight after they left. The idea of eat as little as possible and move more, we have two different variations here. The eat as little as possible is also known as anorexia. The move as much as possible is orthorexia. And we came home with both of those. And then we taught America that that's what you need to do to lose weight as well, is be both. So then we're not thinking it's disordered, we're thinking this is healthy. And in all reality, this whole time, both of them are huge stressors to our body. Both of those things signal to our body that we're in a fight or flight, and that we should be actually into fat storage mode, not fat burning mode. Both of those things signal to our body fat storage mode. So it's no wonder when we get home, if there was any struggle, which we can go into another episode. On top of the orthorexia and the anorexia, just the general idea too of losing weight really, really fast, that also signals to our body, hey, we're in a famine. We need to slow everything down. So I know that the doctor said that he didn't think that that was as bad as they were saying it was, but I think that it doesn't make any sense for it to not be that way. We absolutely signaled to our bodies, even under his plan, because we lost so much weight so fast, that, hey, we're losing all our storage. Every time we lose all our storage really fast, that signals to the body that we need to slow the metabolism down. It also takes stress hormones to burn all that fat and get it out of the body. And stress hormones then are attacks on the body